Hey there guys, welcome to my very first Shadow Fighter Arena in-depth video and also my voice reveal special. I know you guys have been waiting to hear my voice and I promised you I would at 1k. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think I'd get there this fast, but here it is, and I wanted to go over one of my favorite characters and a character that I believe to be one of the most underrated, and probably because he's, I would say, the hardest to use character in the entire game. I can't think of any other character that's harder to use than Jack, but I do believe that if you play him the right way and develop enough skill with him, that he's probably one of the top tier characters in the game, because there are just some things that no other character can do as well as Jack can do. And you'll see in this video that we go over every single talent that Jack has to offer, every single move that he has and what their uses are, as well as some of the best ways to play him effectively and how to counter other characters and who he's best at countering. So let's just go ahead and get right into this. So starting up, it's just his base attack. This is just a simple move. It's pretty nice. It's got good range and it does do damage and it pushes him back, but pretty simple move. It's a pretty spammable move, if I'm being honest. And up next we have the special attack. This one it's okay, but it is pretty quick. It is also nice that if you throw them, if you do a forward throw and they don't move, the special attack will land. Some people don't like to do recovery kicks on throws. Sometimes they just don't move at all, so if you see your opponent doing that, go ahead and take advantage of it. Just do a special attack, it'll land every single time. Up next we have the low attack, which is amazing against Azuma spammers, because you know those Azumas, they just love to do that spin attack. Well, the low attack will go right under it and it is a perfect counter to that attack. You just gotta predict it. Alrighty, up next we have Jack's up attack, which is really good for fighting off aggressive fighters that want to use their speed to their advantage. Jack can just do his up attack, as an example here of Kate, where she just uses her base attack and then Jack can immediately follow up with an up attack and it'll counter her. And it does about as much damage as it would. It does about as much damage as she does to you. So see right here, she tries to do her up attack and my up attack is actually quicker. Alright, getting into his talents. The first up will be aggression. This one is pretty simple. All he does is after 10 fractures he starts to get a damage increase. And it's pretty nice because it's a pretty good damage. I do think overall Jack has low damage until he builds up his fractures. So when you get that damage increase, it is pretty nice. He does start doing some good damage, especially with persistent bone breaker. But if you're not going to use aggression, superior protection is not bad either. And speaking of superior protection, this one's pretty simple as well. He just takes less damage when he's unbreakable. So as you can see there, that's how much damage I take when I'm not unbreakable. And then there, see, it's a lot less damage that I take while I'm unbreakable. So if I'm interrupting someone's attack and they hit me, well, they barely do any damage. It even works on critical attacks and block breakers. Right there, Ironclad, he's doing a Superman punch, it doesn't work. Well, it does, but it does very little damage. Alrighty, and now Thrill of the Battle comes up, and this one's pretty simple as well. He just gets health back based on how many fractures he has. So for example, with 29 fractures here, you'll notice that I get a considerable amount of health back, and that is pretty nice. But here's an example of a more reasonable and more practical amount of health they're going to get back. This is basically the average of every round, how many fractures you're going to put on someone if you're using persistent bone breaker. And as you can see there, with 14 fractures, I get a pretty good amount of health back. And up next we have Incredible Endurance. I personally believe that Incredible Endurance is the better choice between Thrill of the Battle, but it is personal preference. I just find myself finding more use out of Incredible Endurance. Because sometimes when the round is close and you need that extra boost with the Shadow Fortress, it can mean a big difference between if you lose in the round or not. Alrighty, now we have Inevitability. This one's pretty simple as well. all Jack does is fracture the opponent even if his attacks are blocked, so that can be really nice against players like Midnight, Ironclad, or just any character that just loves to play super defensive and block. You can build up your damage super easily with inevitability, and it is extremely helpful at times, especially if you just want to get those easy 10 fractures in, just so if you lose, your teammate can come in and save you. Well, not save you, but it'll be a lot more helpful to have 10 fracture bonus damage. Up next we have Fortress of Healing. All Jack basically does is gain health every time he blocks an attack with Shadow Fortress, so for this to actually be effective you need incredible endurance. And personally, I don't think it's worth using. I think you're much better off just getting those fractures in, so even if you do lose, your teammate does more damage. Because I do not think you get enough health back just for blocking an attack. As you can see, it's not that much health back, and I don't think it's worth it. But some people like it. It's all personal preference. And up next, this is Great Reaction. And for the longest time, I used to tell everyone that Great Reaction was a horrible talent, that you should never use it because it's just blocking projectiles. But I am starting to actually find Great Reaction super useful, especially against characters like Shang and Yuga that just love to spam their projectiles. And it also has other hidden uses, like for example, when Yuga loves to do that, she loves to use her Shade mid combo. Well, with Great Reaction, she can actually, it'll deflect. As long as you don't try to interrupt her attack, the Shadow Fortress will stay active, and it can prevent her from getting that stupid block breaker in the way. And I find it super useful. I find actually Great Reaction most useful against Yuga. And you'll see why here. They always love to throw Shade and then do the Shadow move. Well, if you block it with Great Reaction and then immediately do the low attack, it will always be avoided. You can do the up attack, but I prefer just to do the low attack because you're less likely to get an input error. And also, as you can see, it works when you're right up in their face, so Great Reaction is a really good perk. I highly recommend it. And now we have Persistent Bone Breaker. Again, pretty simple. Just the fracture number is unlimited, so if you just want to slowly build up your damage, and if you're able to get that lot of health back, Persistent Bone Breaker is the way to go. I find Persistent Bone Breaker to be really good against Legionary characters or just anyone super tanky like Ironclad or Ling. Because especially those characters like to block a lot, so if you use Inevitability, that combo is super tanky against those kinds of characters. But it's just good in general to build up that damage because Jack does get a lot of damage after 10 fractures with Persistent Bone Breaker. And getting into the level 10 talents, we have Assault Fortress. Again, pretty simple, just he enters Shadow Form when the Shadow Fortress activates when he enters Shadow Form. And it's really good for if you want to throw them and then do the Shadow move. It is actually inescapable. As you can see, the Shadow Fortress blocks it if they try to kick. And if they try to roll away, the Shadow move will still catch on. So that's really nice. So Assault Fortress, it's really good when Fortress of the Legion isn't working, but getting into Fortress of the Legion, his last level 10 talent, I believe this is one of the most effective moves in countering shadow attack spammers like Midnight or Azuma or Shang. And with Midnight, I have a little trick I like. The special attack is the best way to go because if you do the up attack, sometimes a Midnight player will be smart and delay her attack and then attack you once your defenses go down. But if you do the special attack, if she delays it, Jack just runs away and takes no damage. But if she does it immediately like she normally does, then she'll get hit by the Fortress of the Legion and it'll knock her out. So that's basically it for Jack. We're ready to get into some ranked matches here, or one ranked match, and let me know in the comments what you guys think of Jack. I think personally that he's a very strong character, but let me know what you guys think. It looks like we're going against a guy named OG Bloods. I've met this guy a few times before. He's at 7,000 trophies as well, but he clearly got it by grinding out AI battles because I do ranked matches all the time and I've never seen him. I rarely see him, honestly. And he's always at 7,000 trophies, so either he doesn't play or he just grinded his way through AI matches. And he's using the classic Sarge setup with Commander's Press. All these Sarge players love Commander's Press and that up attack. Guys, I am telling you that experience is the better perk than Commander's Press. I know Commander's Press is nice. It has its place. But I promise you, you will like Sarge that much more if you use experience. It is just amazing how much of a difference it makes if you can enter Shadow Form immediately. Now, Commander's Press can be annoying to go against, but if you know how to counter that, then Commander's Press isn't that big of a deal. But sometimes I get caught by it still, like right there. Yep, I just got caught by it. But that's the only time he's gonna land it in the entire game. So you're just better off being able to enter Shadow Form immediately. Goes for it there. Incredible Endurance blocks that for me. I know he tried to go for a grab there, but if you walk back, it makes it a lot harder for them to get a grab off. Just getting a little impatient here, but I'm not. And we finish off Sarge with Jack. I wonder if he's gonna bring in here. Okay, he brings in Kibbo. I know how these Kibble players like to be playing too. They just love to spam that back attack and special attack and that base when they're up close and throw that projectile. And I noticed that when Kibbos can't land their projectile, they just start camping. It is insane how much of a bitch these people are. So I'm not gonna go forward on him because he's just gonna wait for me to make a mistake. Ooh, that is good damage. Yeah, a critical after one of Jack's basic moves and then a meteor, it takes out your whole health bar, and this guy just does not want to leave the corner. He wants me just to do a base attack into the corner so he can throw me. I almost did it right there, but I still got countered. So right here, I can just do a base attack to finish him off. Now I'll go in the corner. Oh, he had the afterlife. Well, kind of. And nice thing with Kibbo, if you're using a Legion character and you block her special attack, you can always do a back kick. It'll always hit him. So that part's nice. So he's got a Never Surrender K here. I doubt that we're gonna beat this K with Jack, but best thing I can do is get as much damage in as possible and as many fractures. And this is why I prefer to use Inevitability as well, because times like this when Jack is low on health and you just need to get those fractures in as much as you can and as many as you can before your next teammate comes in. It makes it a lot easier for the next round. And one thing you should note with Jack is Jack will actually not do more damage until he hits 10 fractures, or unless he already has done it the previous round. So until Jack hits 10 fractures and gets that damage increase with aggression, the fractures will not matter with Jack until he hits 10 fractures. But with your teammates, that is not the case. 5 fractures is actually quite a bit of damage increase, as you'll see when I bring in my Kate here. And on top of this, she already has a damage increase from at the ready, so she's just gonna melt this Kate. Look at that. This is why Jack is extremely helpful, because even if he loses, Jack still leaves his damage in with those fractures and makes it a lot easier for your teammate. So anyways guys, this will be the end of this in-depth with Jack Bulwark. Again, I think he's a very strong character, but let me know if you guys want me to continue this series or if you just want me to scrap it and go back to fighting with my matches. But I did enjoy making this video, and thanks again guys for 1,000 subscribers.